What's happening? What up? What it do? That's for sure. But everybody in my city say, what up, doe? What up? What up, doe? Salute, salute, salute. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976, allowance is made for the fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, y'all. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Well, salute to everybody. Shout out to the replay gang. Leave yours truly in the biggest M. I know a thought. Let us know what you think, if you agree or what you think. Yeah, all that. And to my bushwatchers, I see y'all up there. Yeah, y'all. Take whatever finger you would like. Real smooth, like, real cool, like, and tap on that thumbs up button for yours truly in the biggest M. I know, So we're gonna get back into what we were doing earlier. Crazy work. Welcome to Detroit, y'all. Macomb County, Oakland County, and Wayne County. And yeah, I know Detroit's only Wayne County, yes. There's several cities throughout all three of those counties. Several. So let's keep listening.
Tragic. We begin with a tragic update in the case of a missing 6-year-old boy from North Chicago. His mother has been charged tonight with first-degree murder.
I've had the police and people acting like I've did something wrong to my child myself. Like, as a mother, that really do hurt my feelings, but I'm focused on a bigger picture. Getting my child home safe and sound.
That mother now charged with the murder of her 6-year-old son, Damari Perry. This morning, Indiana State Police discovered the North Chicago boy's body near an abandoned Gary home.
Spokesperson from the Department of Children and Family Services says the agency had contact with the little boy's family several times prior to the discovery.
We want to make a statement to them.
As expected, the mom who admitted to now here case rocked the Detroit metro community, stunning everyone here, garnering national headlines. Today now, some closure.
They said they want to make an impact statement. I actually want to make a statement to them.
As expected, the mom who admitted to brutally murdering her 2 children was not short on words. This time, speaking to Alexander Dorsey, the only father of one of the surviving kids, inside the courtroom.
They haven't seen them how long? Since 2006. Alexander Dorsey went from 2008, 9, and 10 without seeing his daughters.
Blair again ripping up the fathers of the surviving children who they are seeking custody of.
And they want to talk about how they loved my daughters. Now they want to be front and center, but they was always in the background.
As a mother, one of your primary responsibilities was to protect your kids. And in that respect, you failed in the worst possible way.
And Judge Dana Hathaway wasted no time in making her ruling.
You're therefore sentenced to the Michigan Department of Corrections for the rest of your life without the possibility of parole, meaning, of course, that you will never get out.
But like so many in the community, she articulated her disbelief and horror of what this mom has done.
Despite what happened to you when you were a child, you had the opportunity to grow up.
True.
You had the opportunity to become an adult. You had the opportunity to make your own decisions with respect to running your own life. And you were blessed with 4 children. Stoney and Stephen are never going to have that.
For a background on this story, just go to our website. We have complete coverage for you there on this case from day one. Our address anytime, WXYZ.com.
Grieving will never end, but the family of a murdered party store owner did receive some much-needed closure today.
The 3 men guilty of killing Basil Sulaka finally learned their punishment at a sentencing hearing in Macomb County. 7 investigator Ross Jones has the details from the newsroom. Ross.
Glenda, 1 year and 4 months since Basil Salaka was murdered in cold blood, his killers learn they will spend the rest of their lives in prison with no chance for parole. Salaka was the popular owner of the Moonlight Party store in Clinton Township. He was gunned down in March of last year after Jomar Robinson, Darius Diaz-Gaskin, and Kenneth Hill came to his store intent to rob and kill him. All 3 men were found guilty earlier this year of first-degree murder, armed robbery, and other charges. Before the sentencing, Salaka's family had the chance to address the killers in court. Salaka's 2 daughters were too distraught to speak and chose to have a prosecutor read their prepared statements aloud. But not Salaka's sister, Vivian. She wanted the brothers' killers to hear directly from her.
To the killers who murdered my brother in cold blood, I say this to you. You're an absolute disgrace to the human race. I hope that while you spent the rest of your life in prison, you actually reflect on the awful decisions you've made in your life. I hope you are haunted and reminded every day by all the ill choices you have made. You have the blood of a loving father, husband, son, and brother on your hands.
Now, when it was time for the defendants to speak, all 3 expressed remorse and took responsibility for their actions, but Judge Mary Shanowski was not convinced. In fact, she took issue with one defendant in particular, Jomar Robinson. Shanowski said that at an earlier hearing, Robinson turned to Salaka's sister and said, quote, "It ain't over," and then cursed at her. The judge wanted an explanation. Take a listen.
What more could you possibly want to take from this family, yet insult them and threaten them and say, this ain't over yet? What does that mean? Fill us in, because you know what? I'm a little worried for them.
I know I wasn't talking to them. I know for a fact I wasn't.
Well, who were you talking to?
I was talking to my family.
This ain't over yet,
I didn't say the B word. You can play the record. You hear it for yourself again.
Madam Prosecutor, did I get this wrong?
I don't believe so, Judge. And there
You
were a
can play the
number of other
recording.
people in the courtroom that heard.
Play the recording then.
And you know what? If I could give you an extra 10 years, I would, but I can't.
Vivian Salaka said her brother's killers will be forgotten like dust in the wind. Justice, she said, has now been served. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action.
3 men convicted of home invasion will likely never walk outside of prison again. Good evening. I'm Anne Marie Tiernan.
And I'm John Stair. The people they victimized spoke in court before the judge imposed his sentence, saying that the men terrorized the family unnecessarily. Eyewitness News crime bureau reporter Steve Jefferson was in the courtroom, and he spoke with the victim about the sentence.
Judge Mark Stoner is a no-nonsense judge who told the suspects in court today the way they treated the family was uncalled.
Grieving will never end, but the family of a murdered party.
Family members of a pregnant mother who was tortured and murdered say they finally have some closure. One of the 2 men convicted in her death is now going to prison for life. The families involved have had several outbursts and run-ins in court from the beginning of this case. We caught one of those battles on camera last year outside the court. Today, Wayne County Circuit Court Judge Thomas Cameron sentenced the 2nd defendant in this brutal crime. Our Shelley Childers was the only reporter in court as we learned new information about Jacob Barnes' violent past.
Welcome to Detroit City.
In court, we learned that Jacob Barnes was actually on probation at the time of the killing for the brutal beating of another woman, leaving her with swollen eyes and knocking out her teeth. Prosecutors say his violent behavior escalated to Amanda Benton's death. At just 23 years old, Jacob Barnes will spend the rest of his life in prison without parole, convicted in the killing of 29-year-old Amanda Lynn Benton and her unborn child. Her family filled the courtroom crying as the details of her murder were relived.
I hope the brutal murder of my daughter and granddaughter haunts this punk every time he closes his eyes.
Investigators say Barnes and Jeremy Lee, who was just 16 at the time, carjacked Amanda last September in southwest Detroit. They beat the mother of 4, put her in the trunk of her own car, drove her to an abandoned home where they beat her more, strangled her, snapped her neck, and killed her. Her family says she was 5.5 months pregnant with her first daughter.
The little girl to complete her family. The little girl she always wanted.
This monster took his foot and stuffed her stomach over and over and over again to kill that little baby inside of her.
After killing her and the baby, police say the two set her body on fire. Family members say she was dealing with a drug addiction at the time, but was actively seeking help.
Amanda tried so hard to find a rehab to go to.
Jeez. Wow. Detroit, Macomb County to be exact, but wow. Senseless violence all around.
Say she finally found a program that would accept her insurance and was supposed to check in the day she was murdered. Throughout today's hearing, Barnes appeared bored and emotionless, continuing to deny his guilt as he addressed the court, referring to the crime as disappointing. The judge addressed his lack of remorse.
Someone who appeared, at least to me, to be morally and emotionally empty inside.
Our cameras even caught him turning to smirk at the victim's family as he walked away to serve life in prison. Benton leaves behind 4 sons, 12, 10, 6, and 5 years old. Reporting from downtown Shelley Childer, 7 Action News.
Life in prison. A Clinton Township teenager will spend the rest of her life behind bars. She was found guilty of the murder of her own mother on Christmas Day in 2016.
She was given the maximum despite pleas from her attorney for a lesser sentence because of her mental illness and her being a minor. 7 Action News anchor Alicia Smith has more on why the judge threw the book at her.
18-year-old Delilah Evans walked into the courtroom biting her lip. Her attorney bringing forth an expert to talk about her mental state after she killed her mom more than a year ago.
She was hearing voices. She was seeing shadows. She was in bad shape psychologically.
Dr. Stephen Miller told the court he upgraded her diagnosis to schizoaffective disorder, a combination of schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, and testified during the trial that she should not be found guilty because of reason of insanity. She was 17 when she stabbed her brother in the hand and then stabbed her mother to death. It happened on Christmas Day, 2016, in their Clinton Township apartment. Her mother, 45-year-old Sonia Riang, was disabled and using a wheelchair to get around. But even after Evans was arrested and charged with first-degree premeditated murder, her siblings and aunt came to her defense.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to get her the help that she needed before the incident.
She doesn't understand anything.
The jury rejected an insanity plea on February 22nd and instead found Evans guilty but mentally ill. In court today, she watched with little to no emotion, squinting at times, shifting in her seat as the forensic examiner explained how putting her in the prison.
Even the brother she stabbed said, nah, that's crazy. Detroit has got it going on. What are we doing?
The prison system would make treatment for her much more difficult. Her attorney asked for a minimum of 25 to 60 years in prison because she was a minor when she killed her mom and mentally ill.
Are you sorry as to what happened? And she said yes. And she said, will you tell the judge that you are sorry as to what happened? And she said yes. And then I said, okay, what will you tell the judge? And then again she blanked out. So, Judge, I know you will not hold it against her if she's not going to be able to speak.
And when the time came for her statement?
Yeah, no.
Is it yes or is it no?
No.
Judge Richard Coretti didn't mince words when issuing his sentence.
I can't imagine how you could plunge a knife 120 times into your mother who raised and nurtured you. Even considering your severe mental health issues, this senseless crime is mind-boggling.
She showed virtually no reaction when he sentenced her to life in prison without parole. After receiving the maximum sentence, Judge Coretti told
Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, shockwaves are rippling through the city of Warren this afternoon after a deadly stabbing inside a high school. 2 girls involved. One is dead, and we have this video of the other being taken into custody. Local 4's Rod Maloney has been at Fitzgerald High School all day long. So, Rod, do we know what set this attack off?
Yes, sadly, this was a love triangle, a teenage love triangle gone
terribly wrong. And just moments ago, we were able to speak to the 16-year-old victim's family. We're going to show you her picture now because they gave us permission to use the picture and to identify her. She is 16-year-old Diana Gibson, and she comes here to Fitzgerald School and Fitzgerald High School, and you will hear many glowing things about this child in just a couple of minutes. But one of the things that we have also been told is that the young woman, the 17-year-old who stabbed her, lay in wait and pounced when she had her opportunity. A heavy fog descended on the neighborhood around Warren Fitzgerald High School this morning as classes began. Inside, 17-year-old Kayla Almond of Warren was getting ready to get into a work group with the 16-year-old victim when she heard a scuffle and a loud argument, and then the most horrifying scene of her young life.
So I went to the front and I seen she was bleeding. Like, I just seen all the blood. So, like, that's my friend. So I got emotional. I was in shock.
16-year-old Orion Taylor of Detroit, a school of choice transfer, says the stabber waited for her moment and pounced, and the bloody attack was over in seconds.
The girl that came in who stabbed her, she didn't say nothing the whole class period. Like, she came in, she was ready. She was ready. She didn't say nothing at all. Like, it just happened.
Here is Facebook video of the 17-year-old stabber, a straight-A student placed in a Warren police scout car. She'll be charged with murder. The unidentified 16-year-old victim was also a straight-A student, very popular and active on the robotics team, student council, cross country, and the National Honor Society.
She came in every day happy, always had something positive to say, always had good news to say. Just real positive. You would think that it wouldn't happen, but from what I know, the bad things always happen to good people. So
that was my friend. Like, when I cried, she was the one that hugged me. Like, she made sure I was okay every day. She gave me a hug every day. Like, she was a really good person. You never seen her sad. She was always smiling. I would never think this would happen to her.
Now, the schools let out early. The school today let out at 10 a.m. after Diana Gibson's murder. Now, the high school is going to remain closed tomorrow. The middle and the elementary schools will be open tomorrow here in Warren in the Fitzgerald district. Now, Warren police are talking with the alleged stabber. They are also talking to the boyfriend in this love triangle to find out more about what led to this. But we're also
Now, I'm handing you what's marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 60. Can you tell me if this is a document that you recognize?
Yes.
And what is it that you recognize it as?
Extraction summary.
I'm sorry, the door opened. What did you say?
An extraction summary. A report, a summary of the extraction.
Okay, and is that the report that was generated for the tablet extraction that you did?
Yes.
Okay, and is that a fair and accurate depiction of the extraction that you performed as it relates to this tablet device in which contains contact?
Yes.
And I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 60.
Any objections? No objection. Okay, Officer James, can you please pull that microphone off the ledge and testify to the microphone because it's harder to hear. You can pull the whole thing off. Thank you.
And Officer, what, first, Your Honor, may I publish?
Yes.
So I can follow along with you. Fair to say that you are the examiner name, that would be you.
Yes.
And Your organization is the Cyber Crimes Unit,
Yes.
and the investigator is listed as a Detective Gardner. Are you familiar with that person?
Yes.
Okay, who is that person?
Investigator with the Detroit Public Schools.
Okay. And what type of tablet is it that you extracted?
Amazon tablet.
Okay.